Welcome, welcome, everyone. It's been our first pod in a while. We've been busy, 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 so busy today that Jason can't even make the show. So we're having Anna, who actually stepped in a few episodes before this and did a fantastic job. We have Anna on the show as my co-host this week.
Hey everybody, I'm excited to be here.
All right, so Anna, I know that you have something for me, but before we start, I have something for you. So you are going to Dominican Republic in 3 weeks for your first time out of the country and first big client trip. Is that right?
Yes, I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Okay, just in terms, and we'll get into the show, but just in terms of traveling for work, being in your early 20s, what are you most excited about? And then what are you most concerned about?
Okay, so I'm going to start with most concerned. I think I'm most concerned just because, I'm alone, I'm a woman, and the world's crazy. You always hear all these horror stories about like leaving the country and then you never come back. So I'm like slightly concerned about that, but not too worried because I've done my research and it seems like a really good place. So excited about going overall more just because I think it's exciting to see different cultures and different countries and how different things are and just the culture. I'm excited.
That's cool. Yeah, and Punta Cana, it's perfectly safe. Millions of Americans go there every year. It's a big tourist spot for corporate meetings and events. So the government does a good job in ensuring that their money doesn't get messed with. One thing that I've learned over the years that if you mess with someone's money, you get aggression back, right? So if tourism is a central part of your economy, the government is not going to let tourism get destroyed because then their economy gets destroyed, then they get voted out of office, and it's a whole kind of tumbleweed that just goes downhill, right? So, yeah, you'll be totally safe. You're going to come back, and you have to come back because I'm not trying to do these help calls, to be honest. So your boy is not suited for it, and you have way more patience than I do. Okay, so I saw something pretty crazy. Speaking of events, we are going to IMEX Las Vegas because we work in the meetings and event space. And like everyone who works in our industry, we kind of have to be in Vegas in the second week of October because everyone else is there. Now, we actually have a pretty good ROI on Vegas, but that's neither here nor there. The one thing that I was most shocked about when it came to the conference cost in Las Vegas is how much it would cost our team to have a 10 by 10 booth for 3 days. If you just wanted to take a wild guess, how much do you think it would cost for a company to have a 10 by 10 booth for 3 days at IMEX?
Oh my gosh. I've never even thought about that. So I have no idea the price range, but if I had
Okay.
to guess, I would say something along the lines of $20,000.
Oh my God. First of all, that's incredible that you just pulled that number out of your hat. So yeah, you're not far off. So here's the
Okay.
breakdown of what it cost a company to have a 10 by 10 booth at IMEX in Las Vegas. So the booth rental for a 10 by 10 shell is about $16,000. And then once you put furniture and fixings, all that stuff you have to rent. You don't get it, you rent it, you don't buy it. It's about 2 to 3 grand, depending on how all out that you want to go. So booth plus furniture, $19,000. The
Dang, I
hotels,
was so close.
you were close, you were close. But that's not where the costs end. So hotels, you need to house your people. So let's say that you have to send 2 people to work the booth. Now you need 4 nights. And the average room costs probably about $200, which we're going to get into. That's another $1,600. Then flights, 2 people flying out there, $600 a pop. That's $1,200. And then food. Vegas is one of the most expensive places to eat in America, which you and I know. We've been out to dinner at Carbone in Las Vegas together with clients, and we didn't even drink, and that was like a $400 or $500 meal for 4 people.
It was
That was
insane. It
one
was worth
round of
it. It was
drinks.
awesome.
It was
Awesome,
cool.
but oh my gosh, I was so surprised by how expensive it was.
Yeah, you can't get out of Vegas at dinner for under $100 a person if you want to have like a nice sit down meal, which is nuts. So your all in cost about $22,200. Now, to break that down, and here's my gripe with conferences. Conference creators and planners keep making conferences more expensive. However, you have competition. So I feel like we are reaching the upper limit. So here's the math. If it costs our company $22,000 to go to Las Vegas, if we do pretty well, we would book about 40 meetings. That means our cost per lead, just a handshake, a business card, and a maybe someday, that is $555. That's the cost to get a business lead. Okay. Now, we as business owners have choices, right? Do we have to spend our money on going to conferences, or do we plow it into LinkedIn ads or Google ads? What does the internet charge per se to run Google ads or LinkedIn ads? Google ads, your cost per lead will be anywhere in the B2B SaaS world of $100 on the low end to $320 on the high end. That means that you have to run X amount of dollars to get those leads. LinkedIn B2B ads, anywhere to get like a C-suite decision maker, you're flirting with about $150 on the low end to $250. So conferences, the all-in cost fully loaded, is probably about twice as expensive as just running Google ads. And in Google ads, it just works 24/7, 365. So
Right.
I would just caution people who are running events. I know events are expensive and people are trying to make money and they're trying to put on good programs and you have speakers you have to pay and all this blah, 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 blah. I get it. But your competition is the entire internet. The entire internet advertising infrastructure is your competition. And so it's just a warning sign. I don't know what your reaction is. I saw when I said $500, you were kind of shocked. Is that just strange for you to hear the math?
Yeah, I actually have never heard the breakdown or just even thought about how much it costs to just make a handshake and maybe make a connection. So $500 is definitely very surprising to me, but I don't know. It can be worth it. I know that we have lots of leads coming through IMEX.
Yeah, so IMEX is traditionally one of our better meetings and events that we go to, but I'll just blow your mind here. So that whole math was based on 40 meetings, which is probably what we did last year, more or less. What if you only get 20 meetings? Now your cost per lead is $1,100 per meeting. That's expensive. That's expensive. Yeah, so anyway, that's my warning to all the people in the meetings and events world. You have competition, and your competition is not the other event that's on the calendar that year. Your competition is really Google ads and LinkedIn ads. With AI, it's getting a little bit easier to target. So I say game on. I think events in real life have a really big place. I am just getting a little bit perturbed at how expensive that it is to go to all these things. But anyway, I know that you had something for me, and I think it's in the same realm of expense. Am I right?
Yeah, so I kind of did some research on hotels, kind of like a cost breakdown of like 2022 to 2025 and like where things have been. So I'm just going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
What's the most money you've ever paid for a single night in a hotel?
Most money I've ever paid for a single night in a hotel, $3,000.
$3,000?
Yeah,
I'm
3,000.
shocked. I'm shocked. I've
Now, what I
never in
will
my
say, I'll put the pictures. I'll put the pictures up so you guys could see this. But I stayed at Mystique in Santorini, Greece, and it's one of the cave hotels. And the hotel had its own jacuzzi, its own private pool, and it was perched on a cliff. And every morning they brought you breakfast, whatever you wanted, for totally free. Which for $3,000 a night you should
free.
get for free. Yeah, free,
Free.
right? But yeah, the most that I paid is 3,000. That one stung. I would say the next highest that I paid 1,100 a night to stay and play at Pebble Beach. And that one was kind of like, I felt like, ooh. And it was nice, but $1,100 a night, I would think I was getting like a penthouse. It was a
Yeah.
normal room. A normal room.
Oh, that's
It
disappointing.
had a fireplace and a bottle of champagne for $12, but honestly, I could do without both and have a much bigger room. Does the 3,000 sound insane to you?
Yes, I've never spent over probably $200 a night on a hotel. Ever.
No, really? Oh,
Yeah.
Anna, we got to get you. And you got two jobs now. We got to get you. You and Gage have to go drop like 300, 400 a night at like a Ritz or something.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. I think I will say one of the best hotels we've stayed at, I think it was in Dallas or Fort Worth, Dallas. We went down there for a show, and there was like I can't remember which one it was. I'll have to look it up. But we stayed in this really nice hotel, and it had room service, and I'm sure that one was a little bit more expensive, but I didn't pay for that one. So, me personally, I've only spent like $200 on a room.
200. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's probably the going rate for a hotel room, so
I
that
feel
makes
like
sense.
probably. What's the average amount that you spend on
Uh,
hotels?
Good question. So the average amount that I've spent on hotels has changed with time. So when I was your age in my early 20s, I was trying to get everything for 125 to 150 per night. If it was
Yeah,
more than that,
me too.
I was gonna throw up. In my early 30s, I feel like around 200 to 250 a night, I was okay. I
Hmm.
still felt it was expensive, but whatever. I would say now, just changing, I'd say $300 a night. I feel like okay. Now it can't be Courtyard for 300. Like it
Right.
has to be a nice hotel, but 300 a night. I feel like that's kind of the going rate for a lot of properties. I don't know. What would be yours? Yours is the $200 mark.
Oh yeah, if it's over $200, we're gonna definitely think about where we're going next. Maybe not go to the same place. Different hotel, probably. We're gonna be
Different
looking for a
hotel.
while.
Now,
Yeah.
do you care about the hotel, or does is it destination dependent?
Oh, I care. I am very much like I need to stay in a nice place. I don't want to stay anywhere that's just like grimy. There's been a few times where we've been on the road and we've had to stop at like a grimy hotel, and I was like, never again. I would pay a little bit more money to have a nicer experience in the hotel and feel clean and safe and not in like a crazy destination or area. So yeah, I care.
You know, it's funny. When my wife was in law school, I was going to bring her on one of my basketball trips, and basketball we didn't make a lot of money, and our game check we would have to cover our own hotel with it. And so there
Hmm.
was one time that I wanted to bring her, and there was a Best Western, and it was $69 per night. And I tell her this,
Oh,
and I tell her this, and she goes, Best Western, and she goes, no, just is screaming no from the other room. She was on the other side of the wall. She came out, and she's like, Kenny, it's Marriott or bust for me. And I was like, all right, fair enough. So she's never stayed
oh
at a
my
Best
gosh.
Western. She's never stayed anywhere. Like I've slummed it up in my life. Just when I was like in my 20s, we would stay
Hmm.
anywhere that we could. Um, but yeah, yeah, that was crazy.
Crazy.
$69
Yeah,
a
no,
night.
I've definitely stayed at a Best Western. I've definitely stayed at a Days Inn, all of the crazy places. But now I would never. I would stay home before I stayed in one of those. But what do you consider a deal for a hotel?
Yeah, I would say anything that I get sub 150, that's nice. I would say that's considered a deal for me.
Yeah.
We did have a crazy situation when I was in college. We had the corporate code for a big hotel chain, and we were able to stay for $39 a night until one of our friends ruined it. And the systems got
Oh
more
no.
sophisticated, but we stayed. I won't say the chain, but we stayed at a nice hotel for $39 a night on demand for like a whole year. We traveled everywhere, and we would share the
That
room,
is,
so it would be $20 a night. That was the best deal I've ever had in my life. 100%.
oh my gosh, I cannot even imagine. I'd be going everywhere if that,
and
if
and
that was the
and
case.
it was nice too. Like I'm not talking about like it was a major chain, one of the big four chains.
What year was that?
Ooh, this was like probably like 20, maybe like 2014, 2015.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
So we did some research on 2022, and the three-star hotel was an average of $140, which I feel like is not bad at all.
I feel like that's
What do you
fair.
think?
Yeah, totally
That's
fair.
fair. And then in 2025, it was 164, so it went up about 16%,
Okay, so
or
things are going up.
17%, sorry. So it's not that much. I mean, it's only by $24. Not that bad.
Yeah.
And then for a 4-star hotel for in 2022, you want to guess how much you think it was?
Ooh, I would say 170.
195. You were close.
Oh, 180. Okay, so a little bit more than I thought. Okay, 195.
A
Wow.
little bit
Okay.
more.
Yeah.
And then in 2025, the average daily rate is, you want to guess again?
Ooh, I would say feel like the nice properties, Anna, I feel like the nice properties have gotten so expensive. So I'll actually go and say, I'll go say 289.
226 per night. So it went up
What?
16%.
So they're both up 16, 17%.
Yep. Both of them.
Okay. Eh, which is just, to me, that's just greed. Maybe that's labor cost, but I mean, airfare is up 20% on a year-over-year basis, and that's because jet fuel has doubled. Hotels don't have to pay
Right.
jet fuel. You're not flying off anywhere.
Yeah.
Like your cost basis has to be the same. I think that's probably just inflation and what the market, what you can get. Do you have any hotels that are on your bucket list? Like, have you ever seen anything and you're like, ooh, if I can only stay there, that would be so amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Do you keep a list like this?
I actually don't keep a list. I just see like a lot of resorts and things like that. I couldn't name like a specific one, but if you showed me something that looks nice, I'm like, all right, I need to go there. Anything in Italy, Greece, that's where I want to go.
Yeah. My so I would encourage you to keep a list. Just in your notes app, just make like a bucket list of hotels. And then this way see like something to kind of like work towards. Mine is the JW Marriott Overwater Bungalows in the Maldives. Have you seen that?
Oh, no, I haven't, but it sounds nice.
That one is sick. And then in Saint Lucia, there's a hotel. Oh my God, why am I going to blank on this? Ultra luxury resorts. Ooh, I want to say Jade Mountain Resort in Saint Lucia is absolutely incredible. I'm going to pull it up here
You
just
haven't
so
been
you.
there yet.
I have not been there yet. This one is around that $3,000 a night. So let me actually share my screen here. So let's actually look at Jade Mountain. I don't know anyone there. Shout out to Jade Mountain if you want to host us. We will definitely take you up on it. Your 5th night free. Okay, cool. 5th night free, Jade Mountain. Let's see what it's going to cost us. So I'm going to go ahead and search this. We're going to search this live. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so I want to go next April. I'm going to go see if so next April, if I want to go, I'm going to go on this day, and I'm going to come back on 3 nights. That's all I can afford. And here we go. Okay, so if you want the Sky Suite, that's $1,800 a night plus another $360 a night in taxes and fees. So that's $2,000 a night. But no one wants that, right? This is the one that you want. You want this one, the Star Infinity Pool Sanctuary. That's $3,000 a night.
Oh my gosh. Wait, click
Have
onto
you
it. I
seen
wanna
this?
see some of the
You want to see it?
pictures. Okay, this can be the first on my bucket list.
Is
I
this
would
is
go
this
here.
not cool?
Yeah, you guys
Look
can
at that.
send me there.
Do you want to go here?
Yeah.
Okay, but there's better ones too. So let me show you this. Look at this one. So this
Galaxy.
one's $5,000 a night. $5,000 a night. And if you're just listening to this, you have to watch it on YouTube or Spotify because you have to see these rooms. That's your room. Okay, that's in your room. You just
That
wake up.
is insane.
You wake up and then you swim over to your ledge, and that's your view.
You don't even have to
Stop.
leave the room.
You don't leave the room for $5,000 a night. I'm not leaving the room for shit. First of all, the room is 2,000 square feet. That's bigger than everywhere that I've lived up until my current house. That's crazy town.
That's insane.
So put Jade Mountain on your list. I feel like we should know someone at Jade Mountain, being that we're in the industry, but I never see them in the meetings and events world. I guess that they're just not here.
They got too much to do there. They
They got
maintenance all their rooms and clean their pools in each room. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's got to be.
They can't be at IMAX for, 50, and their booth would have to be big, right? So they're spending 50 grand at IMAX, which when you think about it, that's only like what, two bookings? So, but yeah.
Well, I have something I want to ask you and also tell you.
Okay.
So, I'm going to tell you one of my horror stories staying at a
Sure.
hotel, and
Go
then I
for it.
want you to tell me yours.
Okay.
So, we went to a Zach Bryan concert probably about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Again, can't remember where we stayed, but it was a very nice hotel, and it was in Tampa, actually.
Okay.
I probably shouldn't name where it was, but we go in and the room was super nice, but the room was like probably 86 degrees. It was hot. And we go down to the we also got in late because we checked in after the concert. So, we go down to the desk and we're like, "Hey, our room is like so hot. It's like 80 something degrees in there. We can't sleep." I kid you not, it was one guy working the late desk and he pulls a box fan from behind him and puts it on top of the desk and he's like here you go. And
No.
he was like we need a new room, like the air conditioning is not working in our room, we need a new room. They were like, nope, here's your box fan. They said all of the rooms were booked. So
No.
it was horrible, and then the water was gross, like the water that was coming out. Have you ever
That's
heard?
disgusting.
Yeah, we didn't shower because it was gross. Have you ever heard of the Cecil Hotel?
I feel like I have.
Oh my gosh, we should so like do a pod on this just alone. You need to watch it. So basically, it's like a murder documentary, and it's based around the Cecil Hotel. I think it's in New York. And I'll just say this: the water being dirty after you watch that, you will never shower in water that looks just like kind of gross.
I mean,
Because you start
I'm not showering in gross water anyway, but I'll take your
Well,
word for it.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean. Like when it comes out and you're like, why is it like
When it
it's
comes
just
out
the
brown.
water? Yeah, and I'm like, ugh. So if you watch this documentary, it'll scar you for life. And that was my worst hotel story.
Yeah, I have two bad ones. One was bad for Diva. There was so much mold in the room that she got like very, very sick very, very fast, and we had to get a new room like
No.
immediately. That was pretty crazy. But my number one crazy hotel horror story, and it was only bad for a second, it was more funny than anything. I checked into a hotel in Nashville. I just drove from Florida to Nashville because me and my friend were trying out for a basketball camp and we couldn't afford flights, so we drove. Insane. My number one hotel horror story is I check into this hotel in Nashville. They give me the room key. I'm exhausted. I go into the room. It's like 9 o'clock, and there are two people in the bed fully doing adult activities. And I open the door and I like stumble in and I hear some stuff. And then I just was like, I'm so sorry. And they just looked at me and like the girl's like, ah. And then I got out of there and I went down. I said, you gave me a key to the wrong room. And they checked, and lo and behold, that
They
room
did.
was very occupied.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was
They
crazy. I
could
still
have
have the
sued.
image seared in my mind. I mean, sued. What the emotional distress. If I ended up getting like $10,000 for emotional distress for that, I would feel like a little bitch, to be
Well,
honest.
listen, hey, you can get money for anything these days. The
Uh,
McDonald's coffee situation, they got
the
millions.
McDonald's coffee situation, that's not true.
Okay.
So, Stella Liebeck was 79 years old in Albuquerque in 1992. She was a passenger in her grandson's parked car, not driving behind the wheel. She pulled over, got coffee. The coffee was between 180 and 190 degrees, and water at that temperature will give you second or third degree burns in 2 to 7 seconds. She suffered third degree burns across 6% of her body, her thighs, groin, her butt, and she spent 8 days in the hospital and she needed skin grafts. She lost 20 pounds, dropping to 83 pounds at one point, and she had permanent scarring and partial disability for the rest of her life. Here's what she asked for. She wrote McDonald's a letter asking them to cover her out-of-pocket medical expenses and lost income, about $20,000. She actually wasn't trying to get rich. She was just trying to get square with her bills. McDonald's offered her $800. Then she got a lawyer. What they discovered is that McDonald's had 700 prior reports of people being burned by their coffee in the previous decade. Other coffee chains serve their coffee at 140 degrees, which is what your Keurig does. Theirs is 180. So the jury awarded her $200,000 in compensatory damages, which was later reduced to 160 because they found her 20% at fault, and $2.7 million in punitive damages, calibrated to roughly 2 days of McDonald's coffee revenue. That $2.86 million headline, that's what you remember, okay? Now, what she actually got. The judge reduced the punitive portion to $480,000, bringing the total to $640,000. Both sides appealed this. The case settled out of court for a confidential amount believed to be about $600,000.
So she went in wanting 20,000, and then she ended up with $600,000.
She went in and asked for 20 to cover her medical expenses and lost income. They offer her 800. Then they go through court. She gets hit with $2.7 million. Then the judge reduced the punitive portion, and they both appealed again, but then rather than duke it out in court over the course of the next few years, because McDonald's already lost, so she probably got about $600,000. And I would say that's probably, my wife is an attorney, that's probably in line with what that makes sense to me, right? Is that it got
crazy.
Yeah, so, but it's a good example about the headline. That's the beginning of the story often.
It doesn't give all the details.
It doesn't give all the details. So yeah, so now you know about the McDonald's coffee story, and we went on a crazy tangent giving you guys all the facts.
Awesome. I learned something new, and so did you guys.
Yeah, so did you. Okay, well, that can be it for the week. Anna, thank you for stopping in and stepping into the big shoes of Jason Skipper. And I promise we're going to start picking up these episodes, and we will be back next week. Later.